Just like Thursday, the boat in trouble. This time, Nomura was able to wriggle off the hook with a minute 30 to go, and now they hold a favored position.
We're not going to have it. They called to each other.
Game here is to get up to full speed. Kayard makes his move first, and he'll be going faster when the gun goes off.
Go down below the line. 20. 17. 14. 13. 4, 3, 2, 1, done.
Another clean start and another good job by Dellenbaugh.
Hey, another good start. Another good job by Dellenbaugh. There you go. So anyway, here I am at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, a funny thing happened on the way to visit the Kentucky atheist. I dropped in to have a few words with Joe and then just, shoot the shit and this and that. And suddenly the things started to go weird. Very weird. Super weird. Like crazy weird. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And what was happening was I'd be going along and then the internet would cut out. Then it'd go along, the internet would cut out. And it was all jackally and crazy and stupid. And it just seemed, what the hell? Couldn't figure out what was going on. And this was just kind of stuff. And anyway, I'm in this new place and it's echoing in here. I apologize for that. Got a nice mic and it picks up the echo real good. Yeah, birthday present, new birthday present from somebody who was just sort of thinking, I think they like to keep me going. Kind of need other things to keep me going, but that's okay. New mic is good. Raises the bar a little bit. Anywho, yeah, so I'm talking away, and it's a very interesting conversation, and almost every single time, at a very critical moment, the internet drop out. So like, what the hell's going on? I just figured, okay, well, maybe this new place's router isn't all it should be, but maybe the connection isn't all it should be. So I said, let me try. I think I'll try doing a hotspot with my iPhone. I connected up, looked at the bandwidth, and looked at the upsy downsy speeds, and it looked good. And yeah, I was going to get some sleep, Robin. Hey, by the way, I'm amazed that you all are still up. Hey, Robin. Hey, Tsunami. Hey, Sterling. What's going on? It's a ghost. Do I look ghostly? Am I ghostly? Anyway, yeah, so I'm going along and this, hook up to the iPhone. It's like, and it's it's going along great. And then all of a sudden it just does the exact same thing. And then you try to reconnect to the thing and it doesn't reconnect to the thing. Yeah, I'll sleep when I'm dead too, sooner or later. And, so I'm just, what the actual fuck? And then I start getting these pop-up messages saying, hey, you got this little thingy here. It's it's maybe a possibly unwanted program going on in the background here. Shall I fix it? Says Windows Defender. So yeah, go ahead and fix it. No? Went ahead and tried to fix it, but I didn't really exactly fix it because the doctor, I don't think, is altogether that up on working on this little thing. It's a nasty little bastard. It's called Softcnapp. Now, that may have alternative meanings of some sort, but I don't know what they are. Anywho, um, yeah, all right, let's try that. Let's reboot the machine. Weep, 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 weep. Little hamster runs around inside the machine and goes, and it's like, well, all right, it's good for like 7 minutes, and then it's no good again. And finally, it just wouldn't let me attack, wouldn't let me get onto the internet at all. And of course, I'm going, this is not good. So I said, okay. Stream got over. We did manage to have off and on in the midst of, I was trying to keep the conversation going. Stream got over. So I'm going to fix this thing. So I dug around. It's like, all right. First of all, I figured out that what this little bastard did was attach itself to a plugin for OBS that comes from Streamlabs. It's an OBS plugin. So for all of you who are using the OBS plugin in Streamlabs, watch out for this little prick. Make sure you have good antivirus on there, because clearly Microsoft Defender does not catch it and do the right thing, like get rid of it entirely. All right, so made careful note of all of the programs, all of the sources where this little thingy attached itself to, and they all were related to the Streamlabs plugin for OBS. So go and delete all the exe files that were referred to. I mean, Defender was good at identifying the files affected, but not so much about taking care of them in an intelligent sort of way. In other words, I didn't want to break OBS for the sake of getting rid of this plugin that I'd installed, which was I know a lot of people use it. I know Bree uses it a lot. Streamlabs OBS. So, I don't know, maybe other people are affected by it more than I am. But anyway, I installed it to try it. Well, we'll be trying it again. So I go in and get rid of all the exe files and notice that one of them was actually on. One of them was actually up in one of my cloud directories, and so got rid of that one too. All of this in basic Windows mode. In other words, not attached to the internet and no extra features running. Wiped out the temporary directory, wiped out the Defender history, wiped out all of that stuff, and then I decided at that point, how can I sleep until I know that I can actually stream for more than 7 minutes without having this internet crap out on me? Hence, dear listeners, viewers, watchers, this stream. I did not want to be awake at 2 o'clock in the morning. In fact, I wanted to be asleep because I spent from 6 this morning until oh, 6 this evening, uh, cleaning out the loft and moving shit around and this and that and the other thing. And I figured I would get a little bit of shut eye after some relaxing conversation with the Kentucky atheist and captive desk Dave and oh, who else was there? Issa was there. It was in Joe's member stream. But no, here we are. But dear listeners, if I'm not breaking up, is this coming through? Okay, is it good? Am I choppy? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of seeing it on the. I'm kind of seeing it on the. What about all that herbal stuff I found? Well, I haven't had an opportunity to, I mean, to get right into it. You know, I'd like to, and I really can't. I am unable to partake of any burning substances within the confines of this fine place. Sadly, I can always go out in the stoop, you know, and sit on the front steps, and of course it's totally legal here, so I'm fine. But anyway, that's the story. And that's why you. That's why you're all gifted a stream from yours truly, which I hope you will all like, of course, and maybe leave a comment on, or dislike. I mean, it doesn't matter. The old algorithm, it's like I usually anticipate at least one dislike a stream. But anyway, if you would be so kind as to like and do all of that stuff, that'd be great. It's not critical, but it's nice. You know, it's nice to know. That's why this stream happened. Oh, you might wonder what the topic of the discussion was, and I hope we'll get an opportunity to talk about it more. It's like when you just when you just take the attitude that, hey, I just want to talk to people, I just want to talk to everyone. You know, we've got opposing views, but we can be civil and all of this. Mm, There are um, there are some times when that's not going to cut it, because there are some people who, even if you have a good conversation with them, what they do professionally, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, um, Bob, Andrew Wilson, um, golly, what they do professionally is rip people like me to shreds. They are dangerous. They are not good people. And by engaging with them directly, you are giving them the opportunity to clip you and use you and bait you. And I don't think that's productive. I don't think it's good. And I don't think it's allyship. Because in platforming them, you are allowing their voice to get into my ears. I don't want to go to a friend's place and find Matt Walsh sitting there, or Jim Bob sitting there, or Ben Shapiro sitting there. I don't want to go to a place. If you want me by your place, I'm not coming by your place when I know that that sort of person is going to be there. I just don't. And that's, I'm not saying don't invite them. I'm just saying you invite them. I don't need to. I don't need to be around. I don't. Just fucking don't. Hey, YouTube pump. What's up? It was an impromptu stream because I'm pissed off. I wanted to make sure that I could stay on the internet for more than 7 minutes at a time because I had a little computer virus and I performed brute surgery on the machine to not physical surgery, but emotional surgery. I had to excise the engram. I got out my L. Ron Hubbard and found out where the engrams were stored and figured it out. So that's all good. Laundry time, good. That's good. That'll be laundry time for me pretty damn soon. I haven't figured out where the laundry is in this place, but I know where other laundries are, so it doesn't really fucking matter. By the way, Sterling, I really appreciate the looking great part because you know what? It's 2 fucking o'clock in the morning. I got no makeup on. My hair's a fucking mess. I've been working all goddamn day. And for somebody to say looking great, you know what that makes me do? Makes me smile a lot. Anywho, God, I don't know. I'm a little bit amped up at the moment. I'm gonna run this till 2:30 or so if I can. Another random thought comes through my head, but you see what I mean about that whole drill. I'm not trying to be a bitch about, uh, oh, you had so and so on, so I don't just like blah, blah, blah. But look, there are some people, there are some people that you just like, why? Why? Honestly, why? We're talking about, well, too, we're talking about the Jim Bobs of the world and the folks that keep going with the dude. It's like, why? Well, I'll talk to anybody. Well, yeah, but why? You know, yeah, but you gotta talk to them. No, you don't. No, you honestly don't. You don't have to talk to them. You don't. You can say, fuck off, asshole. You can. Matter of fact, it's not a bad idea. Yeah, but they'll all just hang out on 4chan or 8chan or whatever, and they'll crawl into the. I don't care. Let them. Don't engage with that shit either. That's the whole idea. If all they're doing is talking to each other, then then what? It's honestly ridiculous that these good moderate folk want to have a fucking conversation with these jackasses that want to make my life impossible. And then they'll turn around and say, "Oh well, nothing against you, really, but we have to talk to them." No, you fucking don't. You don't. You don't have to talk to them. You can tell them to go fuck themselves, and you can sit on the sidelines. And when they say shit, you point and laugh. You don't need to engage them. All they're doing is clipping you on your little YouTube channel. On their big YouTube channel, they're pointing and laughing at you. And they keep addressing you because they want that engagement. You're being played, guys. You're being played because you think you can do a better job of explaining, uh, you know, what people like me are going through to a guy who doesn't care, to a guy who fucking called me a fucking goblin on stream and told me to sew up a man dress. Honestly? Yeah, but we have to talk to them, Steph. No, you fucking don't have to talk to them. You don't. You can tell them to go fuck themselves. No, Rimjob didn't show up. We're talking, this is generalities. And yeah, that's exactly right. They just want to talk to him about physicalism. But why? When they know where it leads, he's using that physicalism bullshit. He's hiding behind God's skirts in order to be an asshole. That's what he's doing. And he's playing these guys like a fucking violin. He does this little cartoon shit. It's not just that guy. It's not just that guy. It's other people. That's the right wing pro. That's what they do. They go out there and look for clips so that they can engage in their favorite sport of owning the libs. It's just so stupid and transparently obvious that I can't believe that intelligent human beings fall for it every single fucking time. And a little small channel, and you're falling for this guy who's using you to pursue his agenda against the people you purport to ally with. That is, you know, I'm, you can do what you want. I'm not saying don't, but for God's sake. And I love these guys. They're very nice. They're very nice folks, but they seem to be missing the point here. This is not when Stephanie is saying, "Look at you're getting played." They don't seem to appreciate the fact that they might be, in fact, getting played. Um, and it's different. It's real different when I engage them. When I engage a guy like Jim Bob or Pine Nuts or all these people, they behave very, very differently. Very, very differently. When I destroy the physicalist argument, or the spiritualist argument, or not everything is nothing can be entirely physical. You need a God to do this and that. When I destroy that argument, when I do it, I'm called a goblin. You know, and why? Because okay, you called me a goblin, so I guess I will just throw a nutty, and you can clip that when the good boys who just they have to talk to this asshole. They'll ignore the fact that, you know, the guy's a raging transphobe and bigot and white supremacist and Christian nationalist, and just talk about the philosophy. The angels dancing on the head of the pin are driving the fucking pins into my body. You idiots. Y'all ought to stop dancing, okay? Stop fucking dancing. Because those pinpricks add up to something that's really poisonous and it kills people. It gets people unlived. And I wish people would take that a little bit more seriously, because there's an entire political party devoted to making sure that a lot of people wind up in the gulag. an honest to God wish. Well, of course, Robin, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. Sorry about that. I banged the mic, the lovely gifted mic. Yeah, pardon me. It's just like where was I? Oh yeah, the people the people that are arguing about the angels number of angels dancing on heads of pins, and the pins are getting driven into my skin, into my flesh. It's like an entire party is devoted to making sure that folk folk like me, folk, people of color, people of immigrants, and all of these other people are erased in this godly Christian white nation. Straight, hewing to the will of God. And it drives me nuts when I see people getting absolutely owned. Um, because as much as people think that well, we showed him, they're thinking the same thing in reverse. I mean, you can demonstrate where they're wrong with it's very difficult to demonstrate where how they're philosophically wrong unless you weren't going to do a whole philosophical argument. But when a guy like Pine Nuts cites a study and asserts that the study says the exact opposite as to what the study actually says, it's pretty easy to own him. But you're not going to change his opinion. How and you're not going to change his opinion at all. He's just got shitty opinions, and just like okay, sure you can have your opinion, but you're you're backing it up with bullshit. Uh, and I just don't understand. I don't understand the utility of direct engagement when you're not prepared for the debate entirely. And I particularly don't understand why you think you're prepared for the debate when the debate involves people and issues that you really don't know anything about, or at least you have some idea about, but you got a lot of stuff wrong. Especially when when it's really marginalized people. Yeah, I don't get it. And look, I'm not. Uh, I've gotten up on my pony and gone apeshit wild on people when I've just sort of lost it around this issue about people being willing to step into areas of debate where they're not quite competent. But all I need to know about the Crucible gang is that they're not serious. They're not at all serious. Not if they're going to uh, uh, take a discussion and take a discussion about secular humanism and turn it into a discussion about uh, people's people's personal relationships. That's all I need to know about those guys. They're not serious. They're not. And why, and this is the equivalent of the people that say, well, we have to talk to them. And I'm going to reiterate, you don't have to talk to them because what they have to say and what their motivations are have nothing to do with what you think they are. And the proof of that is what they do with the conversations. Particularly when people like this, particularly when people like this are hell bent on making people you say you love and appreciates life more miserable and almost unlivable, to invite them to your house for a nice little talk about how many angels are on the head of a pin, is spitting in the eye of the people you think you say that you care about. The people, those people, their ideas, their approach to democracy, their approach to life needs to be sequestered the way it was after 1945. You need to get serious about this. Serious. The way to approach this is the way that Spike Jones approached it. Wenn der Führer says he is the master race, we heil, heil, right in the Führer's face. Yeah, I heiled way too much and my computer shut me off. You don't need to talk to them. You need to heil, heil, right in the Führer's face. And you're right, Joe. You're absolutely right. You're right about all those things, Steph. But I also think that sometimes the ones talking to them misunderstand these points and get defensive. Well, let's look at. I don't have the luxury. I don't have the luxury of sitting back and doing nothing and not saying, "Hey, look, this is hurtful. This is not helpful." Jefferson Spatchcock gets it. Jefferson Spatchcock gets it. There are people who get it. Prophet of Zod gets it. Don't talk to them. You mock them. You put them in a block and you say, it's bullshit. And you let them get all kinds of weird. Don't engage with them. You do what Kamala Harris did with Trump. You say, people are leaving his rallies. Just go to one of his rallies. People are leaving him. I mean, if you're gonna engage them smartly, with a little bit of thought, because that's what they're doing, right? Yeah. Treat the fascists like the lolcows they are. I mean, absolutely. Especially online. I mean, I think it's a little bit different if you happen to live in an area where you're just surrounded by this thing. I mean, then I think you can use your street epistemology thing, because these aren't your neighbors and friends aren't the perennially online want people that want to build a YouTube channel and cash in on the right wing grift. That's not them. I think it's a little bit different if you're living in a red area, or living around a whole bunch of people that are real devoted Trump fans and stuff. But I don't think. I think there's a difference in quality of the people I'm talking about here, the right wing influencers on on social media and stuff. Why are you going to fucking engage with them because they've got a big channel, or just because? What is interest? What's so fucking interesting about them? Their ideas suck. The engagement is only giving them is only giving them the opportunity to you know say those ideas are out there. I mean, it's like, I don't know as anyone, maybe I'm too perennially online, but I think that most people understand. uh Joe, you want to jump on here and talk about this? I'm glad to do it, because now I'm fucking, yeah. Jay gets it. Jay absolutely gets it. Anybody wants to jump? I'll just jump a link in there. It's like, what the hell? I'm already fucked. I was explaining this. The whole purpose of this stream was to see if I could actually stream, because I was a little concerned about Thursday. Yeah, it's obviously I've let this channel languish and deprive you of my brilliance, which some would say belongs in the toilet, but whatever. Copy link, copy link, copy link. Yeah, link copied. Okay. You want to jump in here? Anybody want to jump in or put this fucking link in here? We'll see if I can. We'll see if Talk Studio will handle. As a matter of fact, I'd appreciate it, because if somebody would jump in, say a word or two. What time is it? 2:37. We can go till 3, and then I seriously need to jump off. Yeah, Jay gets it. Jay gets it. Well, Jay gets it even more. Um, Jay gets it even more than I do, because I think Jay goes too far. I think that I wouldn't say Jay goes too far in terms of that. I think that Jay is an anti-theist more than I am. Look at that. There's Robin. Robin coming in here. Holy shit, we got a stream going on here. Oh my goodness. Holy moly. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I didn't know if my headset was working right or not.
No. I just I just got to. Let's see what's going on here.
I'm rolling through Gallatin, Tennessee right now, so
Yeah. How are the roads?
wet.
It was a stupid question on my part, Robin.
Ain't no snow. It ain't cold enough to freeze yet, but it's wet. It's fucking wet. It'll be foggy here in a minute. I guarantee it's gonna be foggy. When I get up here around
Yeah.
Portland, Tennessee, and Kentucky state line, it'll be foggy as fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me finish up. I got off on a tangent of what we were talking about in Joe's
I
thing.
know.
But so the upshot of it is, I had to uninstall. I had to basically delete all of the Streamlabs add-ins, all the exe files that were add-ins to OBS. Get rid of OBS. But I have a very clever way of backing up my OBS setup so that I can easily restore it. So I got
We might as
rid
well
of
be talking Spanish right now
no.
with
No, I'm
me.
talking about online broadcasting software, OBS.
I mean, I don't know shit, but I know how to work. I know how to get on there, and I'm a computer illiterate person. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just explaining what I wound up doing. Somebody joined. Joe TKA joined. Well, you know, the cool thing about Talk Studio is you get this voice in the background that says somebody's joined. Joe, you've got an echo going on.
Really?
Yeah, you do. You got to go into the little up arrow by your microphone thing, and click echo cancellation. Hey, Joe, you there? I don't have the echo anymore. So, Joe,
I don't hear Joe.
I don't hear Joe either.
Is it okay now?
It's beautiful now.
Oh
Dulcet
yes,
tones. Absolutely wonderful.
yes.
Spectacular.
I hate that Lupin's channel got took down before we got to go over and see your discussion with him.
I don't.
Well, I wonder. We were in and out. The reason for this stream, Joe, is because I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, because I was like totally paranoid that this was I was gonna need to go through all sorts of, you know, up a bunch of snakes and ladders to deal with snakes and deal with ladders to have fucking internet for Thursday for the transpositions, and it's like, ah, shit, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the reason for the stream is, did I solve the problem? It would appear that I solved the problem. And what was weird was there was no problem last night, and did a little update stream on my own situation. But anywho,
Good. Good. I'm glad you got it fixed.
and apparently I did.
I'll
So
probably
I'm
cut
interested.
out a little bit here before too long, so I'll stay on if I don't get kicked off. So
Yeah. Well, see, Robin's got Robin's got it all figured out. So keep it simple and drive.
yeah, but I'm getting ready to go in this there's a spot here between Portland and Gallatin where the service kind of messes up. Once I get back to Portland, I'll be all right.
I once was in a Discord room from Miami to Portland. It was fun. I remember I had a great conversation while driving through New York about what you call it, that
Portland, Tennessee? Are you talking about Portland,
SFTs.
Tennessee? Are you talking
There's a
about Portland,
Tennessee, is there?
Yeah,
What's it
that's
a
what I'm
port
talking about,
of?
Portland, Tennessee.
No, of course.
I don't know, Portland. Just
I'm
Portland.
talking about
It's right on
Portland,
state
Maine,
line.
like like the second Portland. Okay, the one that was.
Yeah. This is probably. Hey, this is the place where I was talking about that one time that I thought the police. Remember, I told you about that the police station was right beside that donut shop, and I thought that I didn't know it was the police station, and I always freaked out because all the fucking cars. All the police cars in the whole fucking town were always parked at this donut shop, I thought. And it was because the police station was next door to the donut shop.
Nothing wrong with that.
The donut shop went into business next door to the police station, I guess is what it was. You get ready to open a donut shop. Hey, we'll rent that building right beside the police station. But I always thought that was fucking hilarious. But yeah, that's Portland.
So, Joe, I'm intrigued by your comment that there's this idea the best thing you can do to make content is to interact with any theist that will do it because provocative gets a reaction. I'm intrigued by that. I think that I think that that's altogether too true, and the way I put it is always eyeballs on screens and asses in seats.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah,
and-
that's. I think that's a big part of it too. I think that I think that's the main part of it is that it's that you somehow have to be having these arguments constantly. Um, and what you said though hit the nail on the head with both sides walk away thinking they won. Like
yeah,
Kent Hovind can completely get destroyed in a debate, and the atheists walk away saying he got destroyed, and the theists walk away saying, "Oh, Kent Hovind definitely won that debate. He's won 300 now." Like it's
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
and
and at the end of the day, it's nothing but showbiz.
yeah, yeah.
But now
I think there's a lot of that.
I think Mandisa, when Mandisa went and debated Kent, I think that what she did, you know what I mean, because she was a because it was a different, something. No black woman had been there and debated him. You know what I mean? This wasn't a thing. That wasn't a thing. It was common, and I think she did. I think she did. I think it was real good. What somehow that. Plus, it got their channel monetized because it got them enough views and subs to get monetized. So
Sure, and which is fine, but again, that's also a piece of showbiz. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like when Ember talked to that uh, what the fuck was that guy's name? The
Thomas
yeah,
Sheedy.
the guy from Liberty.
Thomas Sheedy. Thomas Sheedy. She did her research. She had a bunch of people doing her research with her, for her, prepping her for the conversation. When asking the questions like,
He ain't been back
what does
anyway,
this
has he?
mean? And it was a conversation. It wasn't and it wasn't an entrapment, but it was we're going to show what this guy is all about, and what this guy is all about it might as well be Christian nationalism. It's the kind of atheism that Pine Nuts rolls with.
Yeah.
It's a kind of atheism that is perfectly all right to see abortion, be not an option for women. For in other words, for reproductive health care to be on the table for regulation, for trans people's health care to be on the table for regulation, et cetera, and so forth. And it might as well be the same. And it's the same kind of conversation with, and this guy is an affiliate, is closely affiliated with Steve McRae and David
Well,
Silverman.
it makes our argument that we give about
Right.
atheism being that answer to that one question. I mean, they prove it right there that atheism is just the answer to one question.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think that if somebody pulled Jim Bob into a stream and it didn't get any views, do you think Jim Bob would be back?
No.
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 I don't watch
It's
Jim
show
Bob.
biz.
I don't
It's
like
show.
him.
It's show business. It's and the that's what it is. It's show business. Nothing but show business for him. But it's actually more. It's actually more, a little bit more than show business for him.
Yeah.
He relies on the gullible to build his channel and to create his content for him, because he'll clip them and he'll mock them and he'll do all the things with his little
I tried to get him
cartoons
to
and
ask him
stuff.
where his wife was, but they wouldn't ask him.
Yeah, because that would be too rude. We can have a civil discussion.
Yes.
No,
I
honestly,
think
Robin, that's where these guys land. They
Mhm.
just want to
that's the
have
only
a
reason why I
civil
stopped in there.
discussion with a
Yeah.
fucking Nazi.
I said,
And I
ask him where his
honestly
wife
have a
is.
problem with that. I'm sorry, but I really have a problem with that. We want to have
One,
a civil discussion with you, even though in an earlier civil discussion, so called, you called yours truly, that'd be me, a goblin.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but anybody who's going to sit by and anybody who's going to sit by and let somebody who's making a legitimate point. The only person who didn't sit by in that stream was Mark Reed. And Mark and I have had rather serious disagreements from time to time. The only person who didn't sit by
Yes.
absolutely casually was Mark. Before Tsunami chimed in and gave everyone a piece of her mind.
Yeah.
This is the
That's
thing
awesome.
and it was awesome. It was really funny.
So if I ever want somebody to give somebody a tongue lashing, I'm gonna call Tsunami because she can fucking give it.
But there's there's
Well,
also this
yeah, Mark.
problem.
I'll get Sue's saying no. Mark tried to chastise. Well, that's because Mark is conflict averse. But as far as the people in the conversation at the time before you jumped in, he was the only guy saying, "Hey, whoa, 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 whoa."
Mark is good friends with Amber too. You know what I mean? Plus, I mean, he actually has trans friends in Australia.
No, I know.
He has said that.
But he's conflict averse, and that's I
I
understand
mean,
that.
he does,
I get it.
and even though you and him,
But he did. He was
whatever, he would
more
never
willing
want any
to
kind of
engage
harm to
in
come
the
to you.
conflict at the time in that discussion than anybody else in that discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't like the fact he doesn't want any harm to come to you. You know what I mean? He's totally supportive of I mean he
But
don't like
but
people.
but Tsunami is absolutely right in the chat saying that he was just as impotent as Dave and Speed when it came to the chicken room job, and that's absolutely
Well,
true.
that's probably true. Here's the one thing though, that the only thing that I can see that benefits out of
Oh,
this
look, hi Dave. We're having this
is
discussion.
white is it helps to have white men speak up for the trans community and or any of the LGBTQ community when talking to white men, because that's who they respect. That's who the people that they're gonna heed more. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't even think those are usually the conversations that are taking place.
No, I don't think they are either. And sometimes it's a danger because sometimes it runs off the rails and more damage is done. It's kind of a conversation that shouldn't be shouldn't be the exclusive province of. It's like please don't.
Well, there's a secondary issue too. I mean, like they sit down and everybody, whenever we're having a stream and talking about it, everybody agrees. Yeah, these people are pieces of shit and they're no good and everything else. But
Oh, I
then
don't think
whenever
they're
the
pieces of
conversation
shit.
takes place, 3/4 of those people are there for it. You know, I don't. I think that there's two fronts to the issue. Is that it's 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 successful first of all, and I I don't wrong anybody for for me my experience is lacking, of course, in a lot of this stuff, but I don't wrong anybody that talk to who you want to, but again, there may be consequences to doing that. And I think that they need to they can't be upset when there are consequences either,
Well, Joe, you could know every
What,
study and
Joe?
every
What?
fact,
Y-
and they would never
y-
listen. They're not there to listen anyway.
My
Right.
my my question is, who's they in the conversation?
Well, I
Well,
mean, I'm
okay, so
talking
the
about
multiple days.
like Jim Bob and them. They're not there to listen. They're not there to learn anything about transgender. They don't. I mean, you could give them every
No,
study there
they
is,
don't need
and
to. That's the
Right,
I know,
but
but
their point of
but
view. They
even
don't need
if
to. They've already
you're not
figured
ever
it
going
out.
to convince them, yeah, because they already have their view of it, and it doesn't matter what the facts say,
but
because
what I'm
science
saying is,
supports it.
as long as there's a benefit to talking to those people, because everyone shows up for it, and I'm here to support this and that. Everyone shows up for it. It's not. I mean, why would anyone stop doing it? It isn't a lie that going and talking to Kent Hovind will get you more views, like, and it's broken from that point of view. But I mean, I don't know. There's
Did you watch that Ken Hovind thing that I told you about
I haven't watched anything yet. I fell asleep actually.
on Claude's channel? I'm telling you, it's gross. He talks about taking Eric to the dentist, and like they pulled out that big long needle, and he took him outside and beat the hell out of him. His Because he was scared. He was a little kid too. It's horrible. He said he didn't move the next time he went in there. You know why? Because he was more scared of me than he was the dentist. And he said that's the way I wanted it. He said he's more scared of me than anybody.
No.
I mean, he sounded like fucking the devil. You know what I mean? When he said it, it was just, oh my gosh, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I'll look at that. I topped it down whenever you said it earlier, so I fell asleep after the stream though.
And well, I watched more of that Dead Domains channel,
Yeah.
and they said that Stephen preached a sermon about them today and mentioned their name in the sermon and shit. It was on Twitch, and I don't have Twitch, and um, they put they put it on there. They because they're kind of worried about that person that told this story now too. You know what I mean? Because they were like, did they dox him? Because I mean, he doxed his brother. He gave him the address, his phone numbers, and everything, and told people that if they were around that area to go by his brother's house and see if they saw his daughter over there.
Mm,
Now, ain't that something?
yeah, that's fucked around. There's I don't think that there's an issue with like hold on, give me a second. Let me think about how I want to word that because it's important. Um, there. Okay, so there's whole channels. Well, I think there's a huge difference in preparing for a conversation and getting your facts together and what questions and even if it be a debate or whatever, like there's a difference in that and then just, oh, I'm gonna let this guy in so I can, because he's full of shit. I know we can handle him, right here on the spot. And maybe they do, maybe not. But again, you have both sides of the conversation walking away feeling like they won some kind of argument that's inconsequential to anything. The only thing of consequence is that person being on there upset. There were consequences to that person being on air. But you also, for the people who aren't really either understanding or agreeing with the position, how can they? Because they look at it and say, this stream that I did is one of my most successful streams.
Yeah, but I understand where Steph's coming from. Like, you
I
go
agree
in
with
there and you
Steph.
see somebody
It's not
like that
that.
on somebody's channel, and you think, well, they obviously don't want me on this channel. They obviously don't want
Well,
me to be on this
no, it's
channel.
not a question
You
they
know what I
don't
mean?
want
Or,
me there. It's just that I won't be there. I mean,
well, I mean,
the
I know,
point
but
is,
it would make you feel like that though. That, you know what I mean? Like you're inconsequential to, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
um,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not. Well, I'm trying to find the right layout for this fucking thing, and I can't.
Well, I mean, I just want you to
I'm
know
being
that I'm
challenged right
standing
now.
beside you. And I don't, you know what I mean? I'm standing beside you. So that
No,
means
I get
that
it.
them some of bitches ain't gonna be on my channel. And I ain't gonna be,
Well,
on their channels. And you know what I mean? Fuck
I
off.
don't.
That's what I
I
can
just
say.
don't think in the end it's a good play because if you're going to be featuring these people, then you need to understand. You should understand that uh, the people that are you need to think. Let me in there. Sue, the fucking link is up there. You can jump in here anytime you fucking well please, right?
Who?
Tsunami.
Come on, Tsunami.
It is the Talk Studio link is up. Just scroll up and you can hit that link and come on in and you can. Oh, you are? Holy shit! I'm sorry. I walked away.
Can you
For Christ's
hear?
sake.
Can you guys hear me?
We hear
Yeah.
you.
Cause I can.
Listen. My name is Jasmine Masters, and I've got something to say. Sorry, I had to.
Did you make me a CMT yet?
Yeah, I'm fucking setting your room up.
Oh, have I had sex yet then?
What? What?
What?
With who you live with? You live with Nitty and UC. I don't know about. I don't know what's gonna be going on in that house while I'm not attending to things.
Oh, okay.
Robin
All
wants her
right.
sim to get laid.
Yeah,
Apparently.
yeah. Well, that's what I told her tonight. I said you need to make. Well, all the rest of them are.
It seems to have lost some capacity for.
I mean, they have an orgy every time Tsunami's away from them for a while. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what I have to say. Listen. Oh, absolutely, motherfuckers get plenty of views when they let some shit bag, when they let a shit show on, because it's a shit show, and that gets lots of views. But I'm sorry, not only are you kissing your fucking integrity goodbye, but you're gonna end up kissing a lot of your friend group goodbye. And, I mean, if that's, like, worth it for some people to get, like, 10 extra fucking views, and maybe like a few extra subscribers to like actually lose friends, because that's gonna be the consequences if you like let people continue, or I don't want to say let people hang out, continue to engage over and over and over and over by your own choice with shit bags, because it's gonna net you a few more fucking views on a fuck ass goddamn social media fucking platform, aka YouTube. Then I don't know, like, is it really worth it? Because for the group, for the majority of the group, like, y'all are not paying your bills off of YouTube. So like, is it worth it? I have to ask that. Is it worth it to lose actual friends over getting a few more fucking views? Y'all ain't netting like a fucking million views off of a fucking conversation with Grimjob over there.
I
If
don't
it
want to
was
listen
like
to him
that,
anyway.
even then I'm still gonna shade you, but like, it would be a little bit more understandable. But like a handful of fucking views, a couple hundred maybe at most. I don't know. Have some self-respect, y'all.
I feel like you
Yeah, that's a
lose
good way of
enough
putting
brain
it. I mean,
cells that the
I'm
food
just,
don't benefit you
I'm just
anyway.
saying. Well, my my point is, you do you, boo. Just understand that if you're gonna do that, I I'm not down with it. And I'm in my voice. It maybe my voice isn't isn't. I don't think it's a net positive. I think the only viewers you gain are the Jim Bob viewers. At the end of the day, that's all you get.
Yeah.
And
The
it's a temporary thing.
having 400 people watch because it's a dumpster fire that don't respect anything you're doing, or having 30 people watch who are your friends and respect what you're doing and support you. I mean, I think that I mean every person has to make that choice. Uh, I don't. Me personally, I've the whole Thomas Sheedy thing changed my perspective on it all. But the
Oh yeah, that was on your that's didn't that start on your channel?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. And it was
Yeah,
actually
and
a
Joe,
positive. It really was a positive, I think, in the end.
yeah, me
I
too.
think I like Joe though since you've quit engaging the theist. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
started just making content for us. I think it's
Hmm.
better. I think you seem better. You seem less like in conflict with yourself about your
Yeah.
content and yeah.
I still, well, see, and that's the thing. I don't need them. If they make all the stuff out there, if I want to respond to something they say, I can do that without them. Like,
That's right.
uh, I
That's
don't,
right.
I don't need them to do it. But that's also like, my style doesn't work for everybody, and that's fine. It may not work for nobody, but um, the uh,
God knows
the
my
thing of it
style
is
doesn't
though
work
is
for
is
very many people.
I do see though that the atheist community is very split about this, and I think that there's some misunderstanding um, going on, and I think it's a good topic because I do like to talk to our community rather than to theists. I think there's a good reason to have a talk about this because it's I think I honestly think that people are there's this defensive position where it's like I feel like because this person made you mad, you're telling me that I can't talk to whoever or whatever, and I don't
Yeah.
think that was ever the position. Um,
No. But guess
but
what? When the Nazis start rounding up people,
It sure can
the
sound like that
atheists
though.
will be there. We'll be in there with Stephanie. You know what I mean? The atheists will be in there with the trans people and the
It
gay
is a
people
little
and
bit
the
of that position though, because like, yes, there is a broader like just being a bigot, just broadly being a bigot, but when somebody is being a piece of shit directly to somebody that you allege to be a friend, like, yeah, it
friend.
does
Yes.
basically say, like, I don't give a fuck. You're not really my friend and I don't give a fuck. And this is
right,
like a very common thing on social media because I went through this exact same kind of situation with the fucking Periscope group because these people, like, it's FOMO. I don't know, like, people just don't want to, like, not jump on the fucking bandwagon and like everybody has to make their own video about the shit bag or something. Like, like, that's the thing on YouTube, everybody has to make their own video about the shit bag. Let's all do a video about fucking Jim Bob because that needs to be addressed. Like it was like the same thing over there. Like, these people they couldn't not go into the broadcast of like a fucking raging piece of shit bigot. And it was like, okay, like,
Yeah.
if it's not, just the sense that he's just broadly throwing out fucking slurs, just, randomly, not to anybody in particular that you're friends with, but like, If that
Right.
isn't enough, maybe the fact that he's like directly targeting people that you guys allege to be friends, maybe that
And
should be the breaking point. Like, and it never, they like, so many of these people in that group could never get it, and that's why I left the Periscope group and ended up floating over to YouTube, and oh look, it's the same shit. It's the same shit.
Floating. She's floating.
Well, one of the things I got lucky about is whenever the thing with Thomas Sheedy happened, I had made some friends that came and told me, hey, you're fucking up, and had that talk with me, and
But he wasn't really like Jim Bob, though. I mean, I will say this guy. He was like an adult, sort of, at least. He was a bigot. Yes, he was.
it was
But
more
he was
insidious, I
honest.
think, though.
He was, I know, but I mean, really, but he's pretty evil because he
Yeah.
wasn't doing it for just content. But he didn't come over there just to mock either. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
he thinks he's right. And, I don't know that Jim Bob and them think they're right. They just do it
Oh
for
God,
clicks,
yes.
too.
oh
I mean,
yeah, they
they
think
do.
they absolutely think they're right.
Well, I
They
know, but
think
they do the shit for
and they
clicks,
think
though.
their rightness comes from God. So it's like
He would say
you already
anything if
know
he thought it would give him
they're
some
helpful.
views. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
even Jim Bob doesn't get that many views. And like when it comes to the topic of like, oh well, we can't just not counter these people because they'll just go unchecked. But like, okay, I totally get that. But we're not talking about fucking Ben Shapiro here. We're not talking about somebody that has a broad outreach of like millions of subscribers that really does have to be countered. No, we're talking about fucking slimy ass Jim Bob who's sitting in his fucking like goddamn studio apartment over there, not bathing and just screaming on the fucking internet, raging like because his
Yeah.
wife left him because it's an asshole.
Yeah.
He does not need to be addressed.
not just talking about. We're also not saying that we're not going to counter them. We're going to counter them. We just don't need to. We just don't need him there.
We don't
What
need
is
to
it
If he
invite him to
wants
the
to be
fucking dinner
involved,
table to do
I mean,
it.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If these folks actually want to be involved in the thing, well, they can do that, and then you can have a discussion offline as to set some ground rules as to how they'll be involved. For instance, when you come over here to my channel, you're not going to call my other guests goblins. You're not going to tell my other guests that they're crazy. You're not going to tell my other guests to go fucking sew a man's skirt. You're not going to do that. Are we clear? Can we set those as minimal ground rules?
Yes, I promise I will never say none of that
The
shit.
answer is no. And guess why that is? Because he's a raging transphobe, a raging fucking homophobe, a raging fucking bigot, a raging fucking jackass, and you want to have a philosophical discussion with him. You know what?
And his wife
That's
left.
not useful.
Well, folks, I got to get off here, but I just wanted to stop in and let you know that I do agree with you, Steph, and I think that there's, and I think you realize this too, that there isn't an intention to do it, but they're misunderstanding the point, and
Yeah.
that's why I want to sit down and talk about it so that we can work through it and agree on at least some things,
Yeah. No, it's not. The problem is that it's very, very difficult to yeah, exactly, Joe. It's really difficult to convey without what I just
There's a lot
People
to
getting
say.
offended.
I did my emotional explosion on the whole thing, but there's a reason for the emotional explosion, and the reason is I just don't think it's getting through. That that even intellectually, and there's pushback that, oh yeah, but we need to talk to these people,
Yeah.
but you
No.
don't, and here's why. And it's really difficult, really, really, really difficult for the people that are affected by the deeper, the more true. I mean, honest to God, honestly, do you really think that people like Jim Bob, that people like Shapiro, that people like Walsh really have God, or even people like Hovind, when they are addressing these moral issues, when we are addressing human rights issues, do you really think it's God that's leading them? Because it's not.
No,
It's
I
their
don't believe
own
God's doing
prejudices.
anything.
They construct their gods.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't believe God leads anybody to do nothing because I don't believe he fucking exists. But actually,
Dave.
they're behaving much more like the people in the Bible than fucking the Christians who are good to people. You know what I mean? Because
Hey,
God
Dave.
was a bigot.
Thanks for coming
Hello.
in.
God was
Yeah,
a bigot.
and I just wanted to clear up that Mike muted everybody when he was talking with Jim Bob that day.
Yeah.
And I was sending him private messages going, will you say something to Jim Bob, or, whatever. And hello, you got me muted, Mike, and he wasn't paying any attention.
Yeah,
And I
dude, but the
realized I
shit
was
went on
blocked.
for like 2 fucking hours before I finally like popped off and screamed at him.
He didn't realize I was blocked for like an hour because he was talking to Jim Bob. I was just sitting there listening. I couldn't do anything. I'm in the private chat saying, "Hey, you forgot you muted us," and he didn't pay any attention. Wasn't any? Honestly, I was muted. I'm sorry. I couldn't say it. I was saying stuff in the private chat.
And you brought up Maya, what he said about Maya. I saw that. I saw that part.
I don't focus necessarily on stream. I want to focus on the basic principle of the thing that you really.
Well, it was just somebody that rolled through,
Yeah. Well,
I'm out of here, guys.
Wasn't.
All right,
Bye, Joe.
Bye, Joe. Thanks so much for jumping in. Thanks everybody for jumping in. I can't believe this is that. And I'm just like interested saying, guys. That's why I always say, if you're playing the sewer, you're gonna get shit on you.
I blame Deconverted, man. He went on with Jim Bob, and then that got Mike and I over there watching him on Jim Bob, and then we were in the chat. And then he said something to me, and so I popped on the stream. But it's not a regular thing or anything.
But Dave, what about like literally like 2 days ago when you guys had a stream like about Jim Bob, having a conversation with Jim Bob? Like, what about the like 5 or 6 streams since like before and since that fucking?
Why isn't this stream turning into Jim Bob heaven? Now I'm gonna get the fucking.
Well, it's the way if you go back and look, Mike and I have addressed different people one at a time, and we've done a number of streams about them until we explored all the different ones, and then we moved on to somebody else. And that's what Jim Bob was. It wasn't an in-depth thing about his case history or anything. It was Mike is big about the Philosophy-weenies, and when he hears something, he sends me a text. He says, "Let's do a stream in a half hour," and so we get on and we talk about the stuff.
For sure, I know that. That's exactly my point. Is that it's not like you guys are countering Jim Bob's damage. It's not like you guys are saying shit to him about the fucking.
We've said plenty of things.
90% of his content is fucking raging, damaging, fucking hate speech. You guys are like conversating with him about physicalism every time. Every time that I've gone in there, that's you guys are like having the same conversation with dumbass Jim Bob, who doesn't even understand what the fuck he's talking about to begin with. Let's talk about.
We haven't talked to Jim Bob again. He was only on that one time. He shows up in the chat or something, but we're talking about a video. We haven't had him back on.
After the great big huge, he's in the chat and you guys are having the conversation with him, but not having him on the actual stream talking, but he's still in the chat. Yeah,
And-
that would be
and he
what I'm
got-
talking about, Dave.
And he got blocked the other day because I said he was being a dick, and that was the end of that.
Next
I mean, he
time I
was
ask
being
him
a
where his
dick like
wife
fucking
is.
months
But it's-
ago, like before you guys
Well,
ever
it's Mike's
started
chance. Mike doesn't like to block people, so I can't tell Mike what to do on his
That's all
channel.
good.
You know, and
I
like
mean,
I say,
you can take personal accountability for yourself, though. Like
We-
instead of just
we
trying to
did.
completely
We
put it
did.
onto the two
Af-
other dudes that were there. All three of you
Tsunami
can take
after the last time, Mike and I talked and we said we should do a stream and talk to Stephanie and everybody that was upset. And we said, look, we're not gonna do it again in the future. The olive branch is a lot shorter. And we decided also that we weren't gonna have Jim Bob back on. So
All right, I'm glad to hear that. I haven't had him back on the.
That sounds like the bare minimum
you-
to me. I'm
Yeah,
not glad to hear that.
Well, but again, though, I mean, we're giving the bare minimum back. You know what I mean? We like I said,
You are, Dave.
we-
That's the point. Is you're not even doing the bare minimum.
I know, but
Wow, you
but-
guys didn't have him up on the mic.
I know, but who?
That's the bare fucking minimum that you could do.
I know,
the
but it
bare
gets
minimum.
difficult.
You
with-
still had a
when-
whole stream about him. You've had multiple whole streams about him. He's been allowed
Yep.
in the fucking chat every time.
Well, I say I have nothing to do
You're
with
a
the
grown
chat.
adult. Take some accountability.
But,
like I'm not
I
even
take
talking about like
accountability.
the fact that he's a piece of fucking shit to me.
I've said it numerous times. I've said it numerous times.
Steph, what about the
Easy.
fact that he's just a fucking raging bigot in general?
said that
even
too.
if he hasn't been a piece of shit to people that you allegedly call friends.
We've said all that about him.
I mean, I personally okay. I'm gonna get personal. I'm gonna get personal about Jim Bob talking about fucking burning me at the stake, cutting my head off, talking about raping me, fantasizing
that was
about me
pretty.
being an
That
underage
was
girl.
like.
I think if you fucking break bread with a motherfucker like that, you ain't my motherfucking friend.
I didn't break
And
bread
I don't
with
want to
no.
converse with you.
I
I
didn't
don't
break
want to
bread
hang out
with
with you. I don't want to sit and fucking break bread with you if you're going to talk to a motherfucker like that. And that includes
Which is
whether he's
the
on a
argument,
mic
I think,
or whether
for
he's
just
in the
basically
chat.
saying, tell him to.
It's so I just like I'm sorry, I can't, Dave. Like you just sat here and tried to. Well, it's Mike. Well, it was Deconverted Man. Well, I'm gonna blame it. Well, I was muted. Man, he sat there for 2.5 fucking hours raging.
I'm just
shit.
telling
guys
you what
knew
happened.
He was a fucking bigot before he ever got up there to begin with.
I
let
did
him
not
sit there for
do.
2.5 hours until I, with my little teeny tiny ass, had to finally get up there and spew out some fucking rage back.
I didn't know jack about him.
And now I'm pissed off again because of this. Because
I know stuff about him. I know stuff about him now. I didn't know anything.
You can
Like I
breathe
said,
in and breathe out now. So
it was just, hey, here's this guy, and Mike wanted to talk.
I mean,
about him.
you knew. I mean, like, how many times do you have to tell? Did he have to tell you that you had a head injury and that you sound like you're fucking like you have a head injury before it finally kicks in that he's a piece of shit? If it's not enough that he's like being disgusting,
that's why we want to talk about
to women that are in the fucking group in the conversation.
But in this country,
do you have any self-respect? Like,
yeah, in this, that's why I told Jim when Jim Bob's when we were talking to him, and it turned to, oh, you're a dope. I told him to fuck off, and I haven't talked to him since.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I can't really expect anybody to have any fucking respect for me if they don't have any respect for themselves and they can't fucking stand up for their damn selves. The fuck?
I've done everything that you said, so I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. We've done all those things.
Ask him where his wife is.
There you go.
I piss him off with my mere presence. He just.
I tried to get Mike to ask him that the other day, and he never would.
We know where his wife is. Her fucking Instagram is public. He hasn't been posted on her Instagram in a long time.
I know. I wasn't really figuring he could answer. I just wanted to like fucking, kick him in the nuts.
I say we've addressed that he's controversial and the awful things he's said, and
he's not controversial. I'm controversial. He's a fucking bigot.
He's a shock jock. He does it for clicks. I know he does.
Yeah. So that's even worse, really, in a way. Kind of. because you're willing to like destroy people's lives just for
But
the
we
fun
never
of it,
talked to him before. You know what I mean? And
No,
when
I'm
we
not
talked
saying
to him,
you. I'm
it
just saying
fell
him.
apart. Yeah, no, I'm just saying when the first, you know, on this, you know, we had him on the one and only time, and we were trying to talk, and then he turned into a dick, and it blew up, and we ended up kicking him off, and had to,
He didn't turn
you know,
into a dick. He came in a dick.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, though, I mean,
you sound like
I don't know everybody online. Yeah, I don't know everybody online, you know, and a lot of people that have done debates have run into these. Even the great Matt Dillahunty was not prepared for that jerk they stuck him with, right? Sometimes it happens.
And what did he do? Didn't he walk out of that debate?
And what did we do?
Didn't Matt Dillahunty walk the fuck off that?
We kicked him out, and we haven't had him back on.
Yeah, shunning them. That's what we got to do, shun them.
I said that it's not like we've had him back on. We haven't had him back on. Now we talk about him, but we haven't had him back on.
We've had him back in the chat.
Again, you know, people show up in the chats, and Mike doesn't like to block people in the chats. I don't like to block people in the chats. So.
How do you block somebody in chats? Anyway, you can silence them, mute them, or they can't see. I guess that's what you do, right? Okay.
Well, that's yesterday. He said something. He showed up in the chat, or was it yesterday? Day before? Yesterday. Yeah, Saturday.
He's got about 20 counts though.
Yeah, well, and you know, he started saying stuff to Maya, and I interrupted Mike. I said, "Hey, Mike, you might want to check the chat. You know, Jim Bob's not behaving." And Johnny timed him out, and that was the end of it. He didn't say anything more because he was timed out, and I think it ran out before we were done with the stream.
Shit, if I see somebody say some foul shit, I'm not going to ask my friends or the fucking person streaming. I'm going to mute the person.
I had a slight hiccup there, but I disagree, Dave. He's not just a shock jock. He knows what he's doing.
That's what I meant. He knows what he's doing.
And what he's doing is what the Crucible gang are doing. Are advocating for Christian nationalist supremacy.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's making money.
And
he's like, don't he make a bunch of super chats?
Yep. That's what we were trying to point out, that he's a grifter. He's saying all this stuff just for the super chats. And
yeah, because his fucking lazy ass won't get out of the house and work.
Mike and I, we both picked up some subs from it from people that don't agree with Jim Bob. So we are reaching some people. We've taken, you know, we've met some people over there that, you know, agree with us. So
he talks about
it expands our community too.
So you picked up some of the shit.
I'm not really sure.
No, they're not. No, I don't have any.
Surprised you get kicked out of somebody's house because you've got shit on you, dude. Like.
Yeah. So Dave, it's basically eyeballs on screens, asses in seats.
And you know the crowd.
They don't
is over
agree.
There.
They don't agree with Jim. They don't agree with Jim
20
Bob.
fucking eyeballs on the motherfucking screen. That's really worth it.
Well, BS
Holy
Lewis is
shit.
over there. Nitty's over there. Iron Charioteer's over there. You know, there's a lot of the regulars over there.
Big Bad Mama. So that ain't saying much at all. Like, wow. I mean, like Nitty fucking likes to play with like shit some of the time too. So that, I mean, you're not like, what is that proving? Wow, lots of white men make shitty decisions.
This sounds like
and don't mind playing with shitbags.
We're trying to push back.
Personally.
We're trying to give the pushback. We're just trying to give pushback. We're trying to give another side, and
y'all are not giving any pushback. You guys are having a conversation. You guys are having dinner with the shitbags.
Well, all I can say, every time I hear this, a lot of us have gotten private messages from people that can't speak out, who are in religious areas, and they appreciate what we do because they cannot come out, they cannot comment in the chats, They cannot like anything for fear of somebody finding out. So I'm going to disagree. I think we help people out that know that we're out here too. So I have to disagree.
People need to grow a pair.
And then
Really, have you gotten many of those?
And we don't think we're
messages, Dave. I really have to
I've
ask.
got a
How many
few
messages? How many messages like that have you had?
I've got a couple of them.
A couple.
Well,
how many years?
I have my, I don't have a big channel. I mean, I don't know, I don't reach that many people. But other people have said the same thing. Aaron Ra was just talking about it. He when they say, "Oh, don't you get down on this?" Sometimes he goes, "Yeah, but I get these messages from people."
Yeah, because Aaron Ra makes entirely different content
but,
than you do. You
but
cannot
wait,
compare
that's
yourself
not.
to him
Yeah,
in any way.
that doesn't seem like it's the same.
Yeah, he's absolutely changing things. He's absolutely changing things. I don't think any of us could compare ourselves to
when
him.
I first went to make my channel, I told Joe earlier I wanted to do Aaron Ra, but I went Paula Gia instead. That was the decision I made.
Y'all went 8chan instead. That's what you
Well,
guys went.
yeah, and all I'm hearing, I'll be honest, Dave. All I'm hearing is showbiz. But
I mean,
I'm not gonna go all Steely Dan on you, but it's not enough.
I cover a lot of things on my channel. I don't just cover this one person. It's
no, I know you don't, and that's why I'm saying it's a complex issue, but it's also I hope you. I don't know as I have not heard an acknowledgement yet from anyone who I've raised this issue with that I have a point. And that leads me to believe that you're not listening to the hurt that is felt.
I am, but I have to say back though, who can we talk to and who we can't.
But I have to say back to, I am not making a judgment. You can talk to any fucking person you want. I am telling you, I am not telling you not to talk to that person. I am telling you that when you do talk to that person, I will not be in the audience, and I will not encourage people to be in the audience because I do not believe that it is doing any goddamn good to listen to Nazis.
I don't think you're
interviewed. Wait. I do not believe that it does any good to have a conversation with somebody for 6 hours nearly without even getting to the point that this person is willing and not even be willing to address the insults he addressed to you. And that this person is willing to and has on several occasions gone out and been absolutely wretched.
I made my own response to people. I made my own response video back to him, and it got under his skin. It really bugged him. So I thought I retaliated.
Well, to be honest, we're focusing on one guy, and this is bigger than one guy. To me, Jim Bob is an absolute nebbish, and to me, Pine Nuts is an absolute nebbish. And I think that the best way to deal with these people is to laugh at them and not to be fucking controlled by them. I made a Bigfoot helmet. You're making a big fucking deal out of this douchebag who doesn't mean shit to a tree. And I wish you'd all drop it because, I wish.
Well, we were covering Jay Dyer. We weren't covering him. We were covering something he found about Jay Dyer. That's what we were covering.
Why don't none of these people take a bath? That's what I want to know. Pine Nuts don't ever look like he takes a bath. Jim Bob don't look like he takes a bath.
He does though. He styles his hair. Pine Nuts does, and he plays golf.
His hair looks like it needs an oil change half the time.
Yeah, I think
He's
Joe's
got
got it.
big goofy
There
glasses
are
on.
misconceptions about this being some kind of gatekeeping. I am not trying to gatekeep. You can do
Right.
whatever
No,
the fuck you want.
that's not what I meant. I meant that I didn't want, people to get upset. I understand if you don't want to watch something, then, don't watch something. That's what everybody's option
Well,
is.
yeah, but that's my point is
But-
that is it a net gain, Dave? Is it a net gain to you?
I'm on the side that
if you'd let me finish, I would make a point.
Go ahead.
Are you going to listen?
Yep. I think we got a little lag. I'm sorry.
All right. My point is my question is it a net gain to you to lose people like me and gain people like the Jim Bob, or not Jim Bob, but the disenchanted? Well, I don't really like Jim Bob's approach, but I agree with his. This is the thing.
I don't think I've traded for those at all whatsoever, and I don't want to lose viewers that I have or subs that I have, and that's why I'm here talking to you and explaining as best I can, giving you the answers that I have.
Yeah, you're doing good, Dave.
But dude,
and I got to point out,
you couldn't even say like I don't want to lose you as a friend, Steph.
I did earlier.
I don't want to lose.
I did earlier. That's what I said earlier. That's what I said to her earlier.
Well, you lost me as a sub and a viewer, Dave. I'm sorry, but fucking like you can't even talk like a human being right now, my man. Like you're talking like a fucking robot. You're not even somebody that's got millions of. I can understand you talking like this if you had millions of fucking subscribers, bro. But you're like getting 17 viewers.
I do stuff that interests me.
Wow.
And I like talking. And I like talking. I like talking with Mike.
You like talking with Jim Bob, dude. You like talking with Jim Bob.
I haven't talked to Jim Bob. Will you quit fucking saying that?
You guys,
I told you we haven't talked to him. I know I haven't. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Okay, I guess we'll be real specific and say you guys have not given him a mic, but you've let him sit in the chat and you've done videos about him multiple times. I'm not going to reiterate that fucking again.
So I really don't want to make the focus entirely on that guy, because that guy again is a nebbish. He's a jackass. He's a douchebag. He doesn't matter to me. And I'm sure that if he comes across
like backward bends to fucking try to avoid like just taking accountability for the fact that they've continued to engage with him, like I guess I wouldn't be reiterating what I'm saying over and over.
Again, I'm not engaging with him. I'm blocked. I can't engage with him. He blocked me.
Sorry, I smacked the mic. I smacked the mic, and I'm on remote stuff, so I didn't even hear myself smack the mic. But anyway, what I want to say is, I'll be honest, Dave, I haven't listened to Speed Stream since that whole thing, and I haven't listened to yours, and I haven't listened to Scott's, and I haven't listened to. I just haven't. I've stayed away from that community because it's all about that guy, and I don't need that guy in my fucking mind. Okay. I'm just saying.
I've done several videos about other people.
I'm not. Well, guess what? I am telling you why I have stayed away from your stream and Speed Stream and other streams that have focused on that guy. Because, because of the fact that people engage with that guy and his ilk solely on the basis of philosophy and not on the basis of politics and the consequences of the philosophy in politics and the consequences of that philosophy in politics results in my extinction. So I am not telling you what to do with your channel. I am just simply saying that I haven't listened to it, and
I
that's the
understand.
reason why.
And I'm just trying to explain that in this country and a lot of places in the world, it's a majority of religious people, and most of them have problems with LGBTQ folks, and it really
But I have
limits. It really limits.
specifically not listened to your engagement.
Right. But I mean, it
with
really limits
those
who
people
we can talk about.
because I don't think it is not comfortable for me to listen to the way you engage with those people
Steph doesn't care what
because
they
they're
believe.
not
That's what they do.
because the way you engage with those people does not call out what those people do to people like me.
Yeah, and she don't
That
care
is
what they
why
believe.
I do not. That is why I am not interested in any buts. There are no buts for me. You do you, boo. But for me,
God,
I'm not interested. I
I'm
have
just
not
saying
unsubscribed. I
that's-
get your notifications, but every time I go and listen to Speed, you're talking about this guy, or you're talking about that, but you don't get it. You don't understand that you are the tool. Those people are taking your engagement and clipping it.
Yep. I know.
And Stephanie don't care what people believe. She cares what they do. I mean, like, she has family that's
Andrew,
religious.
I was too close to the mic. I'm getting used to this fucking thing.
I am.
And no, I'm saying though, we tear apart his arguments.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you're a horrible person and having a conversation with the guy. I'm just saying that it's not attractive content to me, and that's why my initial question was, do you think it's a net gain? And I don't think it is. That's my argument. I don't think it's a net gain to be dicking with this stuff, unless you're doing what Spatchcock is doing with Pine Creek Doug, which I think is hysterical.
I think we did. I don't know how it was missed, other than you didn't watch our other videos where we were doing exactly that. We were tearing him a new one, and we were bringing up all the things that he's sexist, racist, bigoted. He wants to repeal the 19th Amendment. We've mentioned all those things about him.
And you gotta pull up shit from his house.
You gotta pull up where you call him out on that specifically, because all I've seen is you guys discussing physicalism.
Well, it's in there. My videos are posted, so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good.
I can't give you a time. I can't give you a timestamp.
I've been in plenty of the streams where you guys are talking about Jim Bob, and I haven't heard any of that. I've heard you guys talking about philosophy, and that's why I'm pissed off. Is like it's not about you guys aren't calling Jim Bob out. Like that's what I've seen is you guys do not do that. You guys sit with him in the chat and let him fucking talk.
No, we haven't.
It's not like you're making a video that's edited, pre-recorded.
Mike didn't even notice he was in the chat. Mike didn't even notice he was in the chat. We had to mention, who was it? Somebody meant us. It wasn't even any of us. Somebody in the chat mentioned "Speak of the Devil" or something. Mike didn't even notice he was in the chat.
No, because Mike doesn't seem to give a shit. He doesn't really even seem to give a shit about what you're saying. He doesn't
pay attention to the chat.
He seems to just get up there to ramble his shit, and like that's.
Yeah, he gets a bee in his bonnet, and he buzzes me and Scott and whoever else, and he says, "Let's do a stream in 30 minutes." That's what Mike does.
Hey, for what it's worth, Tsunami gives me hell too. It ain't just you. When I do shit, she don't.
Tsunami's giving me hell from time to time as well.
Yeah. So when I do shit she don't like,
like I say, there's a lot of pieces of garbage out there that people cover all the time because they want to point out their pieces of garbage, or they've got bad arguments.
And she's usually right, though.
Well,
After it all
but it's
settles
just,
down.
but it's just the thing. Like I said, we haven't talked to him since. We did some videos, but that's what we do. We do videos about people's arguments. And
Yeah.
we've got different series. We did 6 or more
What
on
about
Castrop
Well,
and
what
his
about a
arguments.
series on bigotry, like on his bigotry? I mean, ask Mike if he'd be interested in doing that. Like, you know, what I mean, what's, you know, where does all this bigotry come from? Because that's the argument that is affecting people's lives.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could, talk
Because
about
you
it.
could
It's
take
just,
the religion away from them, like pine nuts, and they'll still be a bigot. You know what I
well,
mean?
and that's
It's
the thing.
not necessarily the religion.
We go after a lot of religious arguments. That's, one of the things we do. So you run into a lot of these assholes that are these religious fuckers making these videos, even the ones that seem nice. If you listen to, some of the things that old time pastor I covered last week, he's throwing the dog whistles in there about, and we don't know what gender they are and all this shit. It's everywhere. And like I said, so, well, this guy's talking about gender. Well, can't review his video either, right? Well,
you can if you go after the gender of stuff. If you go after the bigotry, is what I'm saying.
I did.
Like,
I
don't go after
said,
religious arguments.
I said, that's what I said when we were reviewing it. I said, look at there's one of those dog whistles hidden in there.
Dave. What do you mean you can't go after the gender stuff?
I didn't say I couldn't go after the gender stuff.
You just did, though.
I missed that. I'm misspoke. I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, you just said, hey, you can't go after the gender stuff. Maybe I misheard.
No. I said that this guy was throwing. Yeah, he was throwing things in there. Yeah, and he said something about the gender, and I spoke up and said, yeah, hey, there it is. Did you hear what he just said? So yeah, I pointed it out that it was something along the lines of these people don't know what gender they are these days or something like that. He said, and I was like, yep, there it is. You hear that?
Shit
Slipped
in
there.
Out.
Yeah, okay.
That's the shit that needs to be called out.
Anyway,
and he was a pastor.
Yeah,
this guy's a pastor. So and I pointed out and I said, and he's probably repeating that on Sunday too. I do it. I'm sorry if you didn't hear it, but I pointed out.
There's always audio issues, but I think it's interesting. It's like Answer says, Dave, I can be in the chat. Dave, I can be honest with you. Whenever shitbags are given a mic on your show, I leave. I don't want to watch them say shit, and that's basically the entire thing.
Well, and that's why we try to have good discussions with good people, and hopefully the shitbags are few and far between.
Now you know, Dave. So now you know.
We're not talking about good discussions with good guys. We're talking about discussions with bad guys, and the advisability of doing that, and how to approach it when you decide that is something you're going to do. I think that's the crux of the biscuit here. Which, by the way, is the apostrophe according to Frank Zappa. But anyway, that's the crux. That's what it boils down to. It's like, you're going to be talking to a shitbag. how are you going to do it? What are you going to do?
And how's it gonna make my friends feel?
And how's it gonna impact your community? Because the decision to engage is a decision about who your community is. And I think that it's really important for people to consider all of those issues when they engage. Extremely problematic, and by which I mean racist, sexist, homophobic, Christian, nationalist, transphobic jackasses.
Trumpers. I forgot Trumpers.
And I will point out that's everything that Kent Hovind is. And lots of people have debated him, including Jay Bundy.
Lots of people have.
I haven't.
Jay won't do it no more.
I haven't.
Lots of people have, Dave. Lots of people have. Some have done so considering all of those things. I think Mendiza considered all of those things and did a creditable job. But not everybody can do that. I mean, it's like, I think that what I see more often than not is that people think they can take that on and fail badly. I mean, the Ember took on
Liberty guy.
The Atheist for Liberty guy, and did it well because she knew how it was going to go. She was prepared.
And he was he was not a dishonest interlocutor like Jim Bob. I mean, he's a piece of crap.
Well,
he was an honest piece of crap. He was honest about his position.
He was somewhat disingenuous, but aside from that, he as an interlocutor in the conversation, no, he wasn't dishonest. But as to what the mission of those guys is totally dishonest.
Yeah, he wasn't honest to Dave or nothing, but he answered questions.
Totally. His organization he answered the questions honestly. He had a good conversation. It was all good. But the focus is, but this is the thing. This is absolutely the thing. The organization itself is dishonest. It is disingenuous. It is presenting itself as something it is not. And and it's like this is a neutral ground for atheists to come together, whether right wing or left wing. And no, it's not. They have a right wing agenda. They have Steve Cray. They have Silverman. They have all of these people who are right wing jackasses who just simply don't have a God belief. And it's like, look at, I know there are right wing jackasses who don't have a God belief. That don't mean shit to me. If you're an atheist, bully for you. If you're an atheist, bully for you. That's great. What do you do with that? It's like, I don't think you do anything with not having a God belief. I think you don't go to any church.
Well, I'll point out the streams we did about Jim Bob. They got maybe 100 views or something like that. The video I made making fun of Jim Bob Okay, making fun of Jim Bob. My video making fun of Jim Bob is my second most watched video now.
Go.
The one making fun of it.
I'll have to check into it.
Make one of some clips of him saying fucking racist, bigot shit, and then put it out there. And bigots.
Actually, I was going to make a music video of him calling me a dummy 50 times during the stream, but maybe you get a better idea.
You know, look, I don't want, I don't want you to get, Dave, I don't want you to get the idea that it's like, well, you did this thing with Jim Bob and blah, 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 blah. It's just, that's not the issue. The issue for me is it, and on Joe's stream earlier, it wasn't the issue. It was, my issue is you do not have to talk to these people. You don't. You said, well, we have to talk to these people. I disagree.
I don't mean, like I said, that's in general terms. Like I said, I won't talk to Hovind. I don't do videos about Hovind. But AJ and Mama and Claude, they do, and I don't say anything about them, doing that, because I think somebody needs to address him, even though he's that giant piece of shit and everything you said.
My point is that this is a general point. It's not personal. It's not directed at you or anyone else on YouTube. It is a general point.
Right.
You do not have to talk to anyone.
I skip a lot of things.
But let me finish. You don't have to talk to anyone. But when you do talk to someone, that is a choice you've made. And that's going to be something that people look at that choice and say, what up? You don't have to talk to anyone. You shouldn't feel obligated to talk to anyone. You shouldn't feel obligated to, you shouldn't feel obligated to invite someone into your show because of fairness, etc. It's a show. And in that sense, that's the intersection of showbiz and what you're trying to achieve. And it's really obvious when it's done for the purpose of eyeballs on screens, asses in seats, and when it's done for the purpose of activism, building community, et cetera, and so forth. And your ideas, your agendas may not be mine, and we can talk to the ends of the earth about how they vary. Mine has to do with I'm not a like pounding atheist. That's not my gig. I'm a pounding humanist, oh, Jesus, that sounds a little bit weird. I want to see a world where human thriving,
yep,
is the paramount goal of everyone on the planet. What do we do as a species to make our survival better? It's like, really, that's how can we make our life here, the very temporary time we have here, better, not just for us, but for everyone from here on out. I want to focus on that. That's my thing. And I take it from the point of view of an English American trans woman with a long history and a long sense of self-awareness. And I want to have those discussions with other people about how my thread, my story, weaves into the tapestry of humanity. I want to have that conversation. I don't want to have, and to the extent that there are people out there with shears ready to cut that thread off, I don't want to have that conversation. I don't care where they're coming from. I really don't.
Listen, I thought things were a lot better. The crowd I rolled with growing up and as a teenager, and we weren't picking on people for their sexuality or their physical disabilities and stuff like that. We stood up for people like that. We were like, hey man, you don't pick on, we had a kid in our neighborhood that he was perfectly fine, and then he got really sick one time, and it literally cooked his brain, and he just got worse and worse every year, And anytime somebody would say something, it was like, hey, you don't say something about Jimmy, you know what I mean? It ain't his fault he's sick. You know what I mean? We never had that attitude.
I mean, I didn't know America was like, I didn't realize how bad our country was about this stuff until the last few years.
I'm in a red state, but I'm in a blue area. So, I've always been lucky with a lot of things. So
I'm in a red state, but there are no black people around there to be racist too. You know what I mean? So there wasn't no racism really. There wasn't. There was, 50-50. It didn't show its head.
High school was 50-50.
See, mine wasn't. I had like one family in high school, but I mean, but there was no way to be racist too, so it didn't come up. You know what I mean? And now I'm looking at my entire family, including my parents, and going, who the fuck are y'all? I mean,
and even, I mean, my grandma, may she rest in peace. She used to have a name for everybody in the neighborhood, but it never was like a thing that was said a lot, and my parents didn't talk like that. It was kind of, dwindling over the generations, and we treated everybody, the same and stuff, it's never been in my mindset, and I never had to really deal with it. Not that I don't have sympathy for those who did, but yeah, well, we were cool. I mean, we knew, people were gay and stuff, and it was just like, obviously they're gay, and it was just like, but and
I've known trans people existed my whole life. Somehow they act like they're new.
Yeah. I met a couple trans women many decades ago. So again, it's like, oh, okay, it just, like I say, I think I told Stephanie before, we grew up on, I thought we were the MTV generation, where it's like, okay, yeah, you got, Boy George, and you got, the hair bands with their makeup on and everything, and it's
Twisted
okay.
Sister. Twisted Sister.
It's okay, whatever, right? I thought everybody was, getting to that point, and so this stuff has bothered me too, because I thought we were past a lot of this.
I'm in Kentucky, so I'm, we're like almost like last in education anyway. So ignorance is just like low on importance, as far as education or diversity or anything like that. They just, and they all got a Bible and a damn,
Well, and I hang out with Deconverted Man and Mike a lot, and they do a lot of the philosophy stuff. I was never into it. I've just been learning it recently, and so they find these they like to call them philosophinis, and
Yeah, well,
And if
and
they're
so
not
that's
bigots, it's not too bad. But for some reason, they always want to be bigots.
well, they always are. They almost always seem
well,
to be religious, and that leads back to they're gonna say something sooner or later.
yeah. I don't think that. I think there's some virtue in debating philosophy, or in knowing philosophy and all of that stuff. But really, when the point is to disenfranchise people, it's like, no, that's where I step off.
And I say,
Yeah.
Mike and I, we don't that kind of thought never would enter our minds, and we don't
Yeah.
do stuff
No, I get that.
for a dumpster fire either. We legitimately like to dissect things, and before we do a stream, even if he sends it to me just a half hour before, he's sending me notes, he's sending me links, he's sending me all this stuff. He's got all his screen shares where he's pulling everything up, and we legitimately are interested in dissecting the argument. And I regret that these other things happen, but it's just not in our mind. Is we don't like what this person said. This argument is terrible, and we're going to talk about it.
And it's understandable, Dave, that that's not the first thing in your mind. but now, you're aware.
Well, that's why I said we've shortened the olive branch.
Yeah.
We still want to have people come on, but we're telling them now that hey, you're not going to just come on and call names and stuff, and you're not just going to sit here and call me a dummy over and over and over again. Go on your own channel and call me a dummy 50 times. You got no problem doing it, right? But
well, I think that's exactly my point. It's like they do that. If you really want to have this conversation, just realize that it does work both ways. They do that, you do that. Set the ground rules, make it work. That's fine. But also give some consideration to the people they have hurt in the past. I'll tell you the honest truth. If you ever had Otangelo on your channel to talk about the Shroud of Turin, I would unsubscribe immediately.
Oh, he's afraid of me.
I don't care where you are.
If
he's afraid of you or not, I don't care.
I gave up.
There are some people that do not deserve the time of day.
I wouldn't never have somebody like it on my channel. Otangelo, I would never have him on my channel. I mean, I'm a small platform, but he ain't coming on my fucking channel.
We had open mic, and he came on for a couple minutes, and then he left.
I wouldn't let him. I'd make him. I mean, he's fucking,
yeah.
Well, he's got a history
mostly
with
because
Mike,
people ignored him. But
with
the point
Mike
is,
and everything too.
The point is, Dave, do you understand why I say that?
Because he did.
Yeah, it's not your channel.
Yeah, he did. And well, I'm not blaming that. I mean, I dual stream it, but yes, this is Mike's stuff. It's Mike's chat. I cannot control it. I cannot do anything. He's got the lead, channel and everything. I don't have any control over anything. I'm just dual streaming it. But I understand. I understand taking responsibility. Yeah, I understand taking responsibility for stuff, and I think, that we tore him apart, and we said over and over again that he's an awful person.
Dave, I don't care. I don't care.
Like I said, Dad.
I don't care, Dave.
Do you want people calling him out for being an awful person?
Do you hear me? No. I'm going to make this abundantly clear. People knew what that man did. What that man did was dox, dead name, publish pre-transition photos of a trans person. If you do not understand what the implications of that are, then perhaps you could do with a little Google time with what doxing is and what publishing pre-transition photos does.
Yeah, who goes to the who goes and digs up somebody's photo?
Stop right now. Stop. This is Steph Steffing right now. If you don't understand the implications of what that is,
I do.
Fucking well better research it. And anyone, it doesn't matter who the person was, anyone who will platform a person who did that is a piece of garbage to me, because they would do that to me too.
Yep.
Even though anyone can find out my history, because I have not been secretive about it at all.
And you use your real
But
name.
anyone who would condone, I have published my own pre-transition photographs. Although I didn't grow up when I say grow up, I didn't transition in a time when there were cell phones available for selfies. But you can find pictures of me at 17 all over the place. But people who do that with malice and with intent and want to hurt people, and you're gonna have them on your fucking channel because you're so interested in the Shroud of Terror and your latest book. Guess what? Fuck you. You will never, ever see me again. Am I clear, Dave?
Yep.
I want to be perfectly clear. Anyone who tolerates that shit is not an ally to me or not a friend to me, can't pretend to be, will never be.
But then,
never.
That's why I said it shouldn't.
Never.
Well, that's why, you can make a video like this and say he's a piece of garbage. And that's what we did about Jim Bob. We said he's a piece of garbage. Yeah, I mean, you got to let people.
Though, do you understand? Do you understand what I
I'm saying, though, you got to let people know, though.
I don't want to talk about Jim Bob. I want to talk about, do you understand what the consequences are for people like me when you platform people like Otangelo or Jim Bob or any of these assholes?
You never told me that he did that.
I don't think.
That's why I told her today. Not everybody knew about this.
I didn't know he did that.
I don't care. You should have known.
Well,
No, wait a minute.
I can't know everything about everybody. I mean,
Dave, are you sorry you ever had a conversation with Otangelo?
I was sorry the first time I ever had a conversation with him. Yes.
Will you ever have another one?
Well, what you're saying is that he crossed a line, but what my understanding was...
Will you ever have another conversation with Otangelo?
I don't think I've really had one. I just let him in the chat, but...
Will you ever have another conversation with Otangelo Grasso, yes or no?
I will not talk to him anymore because you have told me this, but nobody told me this before.
I told her that
today. Will you ever have a conversation with Otangelo? Yes or no?
I already said I won't talk to him anymore.
Yes
Block
or
him, I
no?
would.
No.
Thank you.
But I mean, I'm saying though, I didn't know this until you're just telling me. So, you know, I don't like it held against me for things I didn't know. The way I understood it, that he just said things like a lot of religious people do about gay and trans people.
No, he specifically targeted like one. And
Please,
who goes to the
please do
trouble
not
of digging
mention
up
the person
pictures?
targeted.
I'm not going to. Uh, I mean, who goes to the trouble of digging up people's pictures? I mean, what kind of weirdo sits around and fucking worries about somebody on the internet so much that you go dig up their pictures and shit?
Well, like you said, that we don't know that unless somebody says something about it.
I know you didn't know it. That's why I told her today. I said, Steph, you need to tell them because they don't know.
That's what I'm trying to point out. That's why we say Jim Bob's a dick, so that people can hear he's a dick. You know what I mean? You know, otherwise people aren't going to know he's a dick because I didn't tell him he's a dick, right? Just like nobody told me that Otangelo did this. So, you know,
he's horrible.
If it isn't spread around, then we're not going to know it.
Well, not everybody was around. What was it? 4 years ago.
I didn't know if you knew, Dave, but I knew Issa didn't know today. You know what I mean? I knew Issa didn't know around about it.
No, the way I understood it is that he said stuff about gay people, which we were discussing the one day, is, you know, a lot of Christians and Muslims do, and are we not supposed to talk to any of them? You know, and that's what one of the topics we were discussing, and that's one of the reasons Joe and Stephanie and I wanted to kind of discuss these things, because
unfortunately I was floating in and out with my internet, because my internet, I don't know if you heard
internet demons.
Reason for the whole reason for the stream, which has gone on far longer than I wanted, was to explain
7 minutes.
It was like it was like a, I want to make sure that my internet stays connected. My computer had a virus and I had to go hunt it out. You know, I got out my dental pick and all the instruments and found where the virus lay, and manually, because the fucking you know, it's antivirus software is only so good as the human mind can just sort of. That's why I don't trust AI. There are ways of ferreting out viruses, like what program is effective. Let's figure that out, and let's get rid of that, and blah, 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 blah. So we can trace this down. But no, the whole purpose of the stream was basically to see if I could stream. And yeah.
7 minutes. You got 7 minutes down good. 7 minutes. Can y'all hear my bell?
Yep.
Yeah.
They usually bitch about it.
All right, so
just a little jingle.
Let me blow my horn. Let me blow my horn, Steph, before we get off here.
All right. All right.
Love you, Steph.
All right. I love y'all. Dave, I love you. You're fine. It's just I just hope you understand. I'm trying to convey a
I just want to be clear.
And yeah.
Yeah, the thing of, you know, that we keep talking to him, and we haven't done that. You know, and you know, after that, you know, incident, me and Mike said, yeah, you know, we're not going to have him, you know, we don't want to have him back on because he just can't behave himself and he says all kind of awful things, and he is an awful person. And, you know, but I mean, you know, going in, you know, obviously, like I say, a lot of these YouTube clowns are jerks, and we knew that going in, but when he turned, you know, when he, you know, said a lot of foul things and everything and stuff, it did turn ugly, and we should have nipped it in the bud earlier. But we blew it on that, and we took the blame, and we apologized for it. And like I say, to remedy it, we haven't had him back on.
Well, Speed knows the entire Otangelo story in greater detail than
I'll talk to him next time about it.
Yeah. Well, he should anyway, because I sent it to him in.
Well, I knew the Sal Cordova one where he, Sal was over on Mike's channel a lot too, and then he got into it, and when he got cornered, he brought up Mike's deceased daughter, and really got ugly and everything, and he hasn't been back since. Them
Christians, man, they don't care. They've got like. They're the grossest people. They'll go after the grossest stuff on somebody. They're just absolutely disgusting. We
also try, though. You know what I mean? We try to have a civil discussion with people. So, I mean, I don't want to not try to talk to people. Even some people that have said questionable things. Now, again, you're going to cross the line. You're crossing a line, but there's always we're pessimists, but we're optimists. The pessimism comes from our encounters, but our optimism is ultimately that we can make the world a little better, and hey, maybe follow the nice things about Jesus instead of those ugly things in the Bible, right? Because as much as I would like religion to be gone, you have to be a realist. It's not going to disappear overnight. It's a process, and my hope is that
after it's gone, it don't matter.
Yeah, my hope is to get a moderate. You know what I mean? So that they're in with secular society, as well as they can go do their thing on Sunday, as long as they're not bothering.
Love you, Steph.
Anyway, I'm being distracted by the side chat. So, Jester, thank you for showing up. I really appreciate your being here. And YouTube Punk, Jester's quite cool.
Jester's here?
Yeah, Jester's here.
And that's the thing too. I wanted to do an Aaron Ra channel and go after Ken Ham, and that's all I was going to do. And then I changed my mind. Aaron Ra, and
it's
I know what it is. I'm sorry. It's just slipped.
I can stick you on somebody if you want somebody, Dave. There's a channel called James is Tired. Go check it out.
Okay. But
anyway,
I
got it.
I took the other approach. So, but I did think about being, Aaron Ra and just going after people hardcore, but I took the Paulogia advice instead, and that's where my channel's at. And he talks to questionable people as well. Again, though, I understand putting a line on people when they do things over the top, and I will take that into consideration into the future.
All right, so I gotta thank a whole bunch of people. I gotta thank my in real life friend Andrew for helping me out securing a place so that I'm not homeless for the month of November. Still working on things for the month of December. I do have a job for the month of October, and whoever another friend, in real life friend, bought me this whole super duper microphone and super duper microphone thing. That's really cool. I got to thank Calasia with a bunch of numbers after for being a huge supporter and contributing to making it possible for me to have roof over my head for the month of October. Really helps. I'm I'm appreciative of everyone in this community who's been supportive of what I've done, have been able to do, and has joined the transpositions channel. It's this is something that's, I think, somewhat unique in YouTube land, where trans people are covering news on a weekly basis, and it's just awesome. And I encourage you to become a member over there as a Patreon there. I hope you'll join our Discord, where we have an awful lot of data. Yeah, I'm staying warm, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm YouTube punk. I'm making it for October. I don't know what's happening in November, but I'm working on it. You know, right? I'm kind of in the midst of closing down the whole law thing. I covered that early on in this stream, which was only supposed to be 10 minutes, but anyway. So anyway, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I should do the Dave. What you got coming up? You got something coming up?
I've got a bunch of videos coming up. The big thing I'm trying to get going again. Mike used to do Saturday night at the Atheists, and that's what we're trying to get going again. So I'm working on that, where everybody can just come and nothing serious, no topics that's gonna be a hot topic or anything, where we can just
until it is.
Well, hopefully, yeah, we can just have a good time, and I'm pulling up some what I think are non-controversial issues that we can just have a good discussion about. And 2 weeks in a row now, we've had a great panel and some great discussions, so we're working on that. And I've always got some Grassman coming up, and I've got
cool.
I think I'm going to do the New Jersey Devil next. So.
Oh yeah. The Jersey Devil's always fun.
It's a good really story, and it goes back.
It's a good story, and the Pine Barrens are really, really cool too.
Yep,
If you've ever have you ever been up that way, going through the Pine Barrens?
No, I've only been in southern New York.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
And yeah, the whole Leeds family thing, going way back to the Quakers, and there's a whole big thing there in behind it with the backstory of the Leeds family and everything. So it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm on with Mike a lot, and we are covering some other people. We have moved on, so maybe be able to check it out again with some new direction over there.
Maybe. All right.
Okay.
Well, everybody, I'm gonna kill it right now, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Good night.